Alright, people. Fact of the matter is I'm too flaming depressed to work on the storage area very much today, so I just threw a red sheet over kind of the worst offenders of piles, and leave it at that. I'm still feeling bad about the fact, and probably harks many years back, but about the fact that, I just feel like what I'm discovering is, and it's probably something I've known all along, I'm just having to face up to it, that nobody out there isn't an audience for the things I write, really. And so my two choices are to either stop writing, treat it kind of like not doing drugs anymore, which is, also something that I have experience with. I've never been through rehab. I was never addicted to drugs in that way, where I was, physically it was necessary to purge them out of my system. It was just a matter of not doing it anymore, and maybe I need to treat writing the same way, or at least the pursuit of any kind of fame from writing, because the fact of the matter is there just is not, and there's not an audience for me. And yeah, that's what I'm dealing with here. Also, the fact that I, as I spoke about in the last video, whenever I'm fool enough to think that I am in a group of people where it's okay to be vulnerable, I need to remind myself that it is never, ever, ever okay to be vulnerable. And, if you're somebody whose wires are kind of crossed in the first place, everybody is going to misunderstand what you're trying to say anyway, and then they're just going to get nasty to you, or make fun of you, or what have you. So anyway, there's not an audience. There's just not. I've just I gotta recognize that, and then just write it anyway for myself. Sometimes my work does get picked up in anthologies. That's kind of got to be good enough, I'm never going to make any money off of it. I'm not going to make a living off of it. I actually never anticipated having any kind of a bestseller status. I was hoping for some kind of a cult status. Some people were like, yeah, she's really weird. We really dig that, but I don't know. Things are just a little bit crazy. I wanted to read aloud the post I made today on Reader's Roost, but I don't know if I'm really up to that. I'd like people to visit Reader's Roost. Honestly, it's mostly promotions of other people's books, not mine. https // bit.ly/Reader's Roost, and the R's are capitalized. Otherwise, do a search for Reader's Roost. You should be able to find it. I don't know. I on some of the blogs I've had in the past, I've had it set up so search engines can't crawl them, but I didn't do that with this one because I want people to find it. Anyway, I don't know. I'm trying to make myself write a story anyway, even though I feel like this. I got an idea here, so just a second. Okay, so I just remembered I wanted to feed my Pokemon Sleep team. Yes, I use the Pokemon Sleep app, and it actually has helped me sleep better overall, except for last night when I was up at like 2 in the morning, and then I wanted to do some recording, but I still don't know what I'm doing. So I downloaded OBS today, and I've been looking for a way to blur the background or remove the background in OBS. I've probably got to restart my computer, and I've been resisting doing that because I have an old computer, and I have to unplug every peripheral before restarting it. Otherwise, it never restarts. It just sits there in that perpetual wheel, spinning. Anyway, something I started doing on my Substack, which nobody gives a flying fuck about, is it's tarot readings for characters, but I'll also pull one card for myself. Now, let me just say right here and now, I don't really give a fuck if you think tarot readings are real or just foolishness or whatever. You can use the cards either to, trigger stuff in the subconscious, or maybe there is something mystical and metaphysical to it. I don't know. I don't care. And I'm not going to argue with anybody about the validity of that, so just go on with that. But in any case, it's hard to do like a full reading for oneself because you're too close to the situation, I find. But pulling one card, let's see what happens. Alright. Okay, so I got the Seven of Cups, and given how I'm feeling, that really does not surprise me. The Seven of Cups is a card that indicates disillusionment. I'll just read for you the description of the card. I'm using the Cthulhu's Vault Tarot deck. A demon's face sticks out against the red of the night sky. His body is swamp green and full of wrinkles. Wait a minute, that sounds like me. His eyes are fluorescent. It looks like he is piercing the inside of your soul. The demon's smile is gigantic. Like someone who has let their imagination run away with them, the Seven of Cups is a card that is a work of the imagination. With so many options in front of you, how do you choose? Well, that is one of my problems. I do always have way too many ideas, and oh look, a squirrel. Yeah, so that's a big problem for me. Anyways, let's see here. I'm waiting on my new glasses. It's my old prescription. Um, you're trying on each one, but having difficulty deciding which to choose, or perhaps you feel empty despite having all you've asked for. Well, no, there would be a lot more money involved if I had all I asked for, because I sure as hell don't. Excuse me. Anyways, do not get lost in the fantasy. Now, it kind of begs the question, which fantasy? Is it a fantasy that I've concocted in my own head that, you know, I can't write? Am I messing with imposter syndrome? And, like I said, I never figured to be Pulitzer Prize winner or million seller or whatever, but hell, I can't even seem to get a penny dreadful out there. But anyway, let's see this last part of this here. This card could signal that now is a time to wait and take the time you need to get clarity. Well, I could be waiting forever because I'm always filled with self-doubt. But yeah, so it felt better to bring that out and talk about it a little, even. One of the things I'd wanted to do on my Substack was to offer people the option of, if you subscribe, I'll do one card for you or your character every month, and we'll talk about it. But hell, I swear to God, I could not sell ice to people on the equator. I just, oh well. Anyway, yeah, so I guess my selling point with all this is, if you're tired of all the perfect people whose life is going perfect, and look, I'm manifesting everything I ever wanted, and my desk isn't in a storage area, um, and I'm not super depressed or whatever. Which, yeah, I'm always depressed, to a degree, kind of moderately depressed is my baseline state. That's not going to change. And I'm from the generation where they started pushing SSRIs, and I've been on several of those, and it was not good. Boy, howdy, was it not good. Most of them made me manic and psychotic. Um, Prozac didn't make me manic, but it made me psychotic. So, not psychotic as in I was going to go out there and kill somebody. That that never was a threat. Psychotic as in reality was not doing the reality thing, and the reality I was in was a bit more on the nightmarish side, although I still had enough of a grip on reality that I realized what was happening was hallucinations. So, yeah, not everybody can take those drugs, but back in the day it was, well, this is the miracle cure, and it's not. And for some of us, it does not work. I came to the conclusion that it's better to acknowledge the reality that basically I have a depressive personality. I had a cousin, I guess technically first cousin once removed. She was the daughter of one of my father's cousins, who, this channel just does not have enough subscribers, but I guess I'll be careful. Who took her own life when she was in her early 40s, because she had what is labeled as medication-resistant depression, which is what I have, but see, it came clear to me that you keep chasing that perfect medication, but all of those drugs, they work relatively the same way. And the antipsychotics have their own bag of stuff. And anyway, I'm not psychotic unless I take SSRIs, so I'm not even going to mess with those suckers. Allergies. But, yeah, so this can be the place where you come when you're just tired of seeing all the perfect people who maybe their deal ain't even that perfect. Maybe they're hiding the fact that they're still struggling, and they're wanting to appear like they're not, and they're using a bunch of filters to hide all the stuff that's not perfect about their face. Well, I'm not going to do that unless I have a rosacea flare up, in which case I do use foundation to tone it down. I'm not saying that nobody should wear makeup if they like wearing makeup and whatever. And that goes for both sexes. I don't care. Dude wants to wear makeup, that's cool with me. But I don't. And I used to, when I was younger, be the kind of person who wouldn't even go to the grocery store without having my hair done and a full face of makeup. And when I went back to working the night shift, I stopped wearing makeup. I just never got back into doing it. It's like it costs so much. But yeah, that's my thing. Is I'm just, what the hell do I have to lose? I'm 60 years old. I'm not gonna go out and get a bunch of plastic surgery. I'm not gonna put on a face full of makeup and pretend that my life is perfect when actually I'm struggling. But I'll tell you all what. I'll read some of my poems and stories and stuff along the way. What the hell? I'm still trying to figure out how to have a paid platform to do that. It's my understanding that with YouTube you have to have at least 1,000 followers. I have 15, and mostly these are people who just know me from following streams where people actually know what the hell they're doing. Um, I would be shocked if I ever got more than, well, I'd be shocked if I got 100 followers. I'd feel like, wow, I didn't know there were so many people that needed to hear the brutal reality. But I'd also start worrying that a lot of people were like hate watching it or watching it to make fun of me or whatever. And believe me, I've had that happen more than once, and I think I could chalk most of my shit up to complex PTSD from having been abused in various ways along the way. But yeah, hey, I could talk about this shit all day. But I'm gonna wrap it up. See if I can't force myself to write just a scene, just a scene, just to get back into it. And I'm just gonna take the Frankenfurter approach, which is I didn't write it for you. I get it. I'm my only audience. When it comes to things like, writing romance, and I had written a piece for potential inclusion in an anthology earlier this year, and I decided to have a crack at enemies to lovers. And there's this thing at the beginning where, the person critiquing the piece said that, um, this character doesn't, the captain here, he doesn't even seem to like this other guy, and you have to establish from the beginning that they are the relationship, and the fact that the captain was looking at the two twin trainers with lust in his eyes, she was like, the audience is going to rip you to shreds for that. And I'm like, well, okay, fuck the audience. This is not the audience I want. So, um, I just got to get used to the idea that there's more stuff you can kind of do with indie, and maybe people are kind of tired of stories where, my stories with the romance stuff, whether it be sweet or spicy, is either happy forever or happy for now. So I don't know. I guess I'll deal with that later. I'm not writing a romance right now, so I guess I'll write it, and I'll share some stuff with y'all. Maybe I thought what might be fun is if I write some steamy stuff, but then because you can't actually read that on YouTube, use all these euphemisms and stuff, and then be like, so if you want to read the actual story, you gotta go buy it. Try and set up my website and stuff. Anyways, I probably should shut up. So, yeah, let's get this out there. Let's let's see what we can get shaken. Bye for now. Oh, wrong folder. Poopy crap.